Hey everybody, it's Kelly and I'm back with another layout. Today I'm going to be using a craft background from the Paper Studio, which is Hobby Lobby's brand. And these are photos from one of my stepkids' trip to a waterfall when they were on vacation. So that's what this is about. So I started with that striped paper from Jen Hadfield's My Bright Life 12 by 12 pad, and I'm really going to concentrate on my paper pads here. I think you're going to see that in the next couple of layouts actually. I've been working on using those up a bit. So that's where these are coming from. So that one's from My Bright Life. The fern paper there is from Patio Party, the Jen Hadfield Patio Party paper pad. And I want that paper to appear on both sides of the layout. So I was kind of really trying to guess how much I needed to use to house these three photos because I don't have two sheets of this. I only have one. I think most of those paper pads, the Jen Hadfield ones at least, only have one of each, where a lot of times you'll see multiples in paper pads. And I actually kind of appreciate that, just because I don't often need to, unless of course I'm scrapbooking a double page layout. So, and by the way, welcome to a 2-page Tuesday. Obviously I don't do this every Tuesday, but I've got this one, and I think next week you'll see a 2-pager for sure as well too. So I like to scatter them in. So I did also grab the alpha that I'm intending to use here because I want to look at spacing to see where these pieces need to be glued, and then that'll help me decide whether I want to do a white card or white card, a vertical card, or a horizontal card. If I could only think. These are from Set by Mamby, so Me and My Big Ideas, and they're old. They came from, I think, like a wedding set that I used when my stepkids, both of my nephews got married, and I scrapbooked both of their wedding albums, so I haven't used all of them up. And most of them were still usable. I think I did do a giveaway for people who wanted the remains of the wedding album stuff back then, but these I kept because they still worked really well. All right, so here I'm going to add in that alphabet that I was looking at, and this is from American Crafts. It's the Picnic Thickers. So I'm not quite sure which collection this is from. It's just that's what the title of them is. And I did decide to go with a horizontal card, just happy together. It doesn't leave me a lot of room for journaling though, and that is bothering me a little bit. I'm also still trying to decide, do I want it above that green? And then I thought, well, maybe I could somehow make it work over on the side there, but that just was going to look really crowded, I think. If I had chosen a smaller alpha, maybe. So now here's where I'm thinking about bringing the green paper back in. So I'll trim that up, and I'm not sure if I'm going to need any more if I change my mind, so I'm actually going to trim off of a piece. So the fact that I didn't have journaling space there started to bother me, so I started looking through a few of my Ellie Studio cards and trying to decide that was a good decision. As I'm looking this, I had a hard time finding a card that I thought worked. Oh, well, actually, I found that one right away and then wasn't sure about it, so I kept looking. It is a really close match to that green paper, even though it's not the same, not only collection, but not even the same manufacturer. So that was kind of nice. And I love how the ferns just give a really woodsy feel to this, as well as the paper itself. And that paper has a slight... Actually, sorry, I'm going to take that back. I was going to say this paper has a slight texture to it, a wood texture to it. That is not true. That's another layout I did just recently that had that on. And I'm not sure if you're going to see that or not. I don't remember. So I'm still playing around also with whether the card's going on the left or the right of the photo. I like it on the right, but I don't like it butted all the way up to the side, and I don't like the space there. Just because I know that it's going to interrupt the flow to the next page, because the next page the photos are going to be butted right up to the edge there. So I'm kind of having a hard time with that. And since I'm having a hard time with that, I'm going to do what I know. And actually, when I first started doing this, I forgot about this little piece. When I first started doing this, I was going to put the fern paper on either sides of the paper. And then I decided no, because the pictures are so wide, I wouldn't see any of the craft paper. And I wanted to make sure I had craft showing on both sides to bring the layouts together. I think if I just did, a full page of 4x6 photos, that's fine. But these were taken with a cell phone camera, so they are not quite 4x6. All right, and I'm just really gluing towards the center of that line of photos there so I can get this in. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to echo the craft space of that craft there with the space on the bottom of the other page. Now, it would have been helpful if I'd thought about that earlier, because then I could have cut this piece a little bit bigger. That gives me a little bit of a fit here. But I figured it out pretty quickly. I also, by the way, am not going to glue down the Dave's Falls title while I have the camera on, just because that takes forever and it's really boring to watch. But these are chipboard, so I want to reglue them. So now I am looking at some tags, and I really love this tag that says Happy Day, and that is from one of the papers from the 12x12 Bright Life pad. So I'm just going to cut these apart and add them in, and then there's a love tag there, and that kind of serves a dual purpose there. So now I'm trying to decide, yeah, that space is really driving me crazy, so I decide to move it over. And then I realized, oh wait, I think it would be kind of cool to have the Happy Day crossing over that white and to kind of embellish that way. So then I moved the journaling cut apart, which I don't think I told you where that came from. I know that is from the LE Studio Notable collection. They had a 12x12 paper that was just those 3x4 cut aparts. Anyway, but I just said I really like the way that would work together. Okay, now I have gold in the Dave's Falls, so I did grab these floral stickers. They're layered, they're dimensional stickers, the Patio Party dimensional stickers, and they do have some gold accents on them. So I like the way that brings in some of the gold in the title and in the fern paper. Obviously there's gold, and then back into the accents as well. So kind of playing around. I like the areas where I have the flowers, but I'm not sure I have the right flower in the right area here. So I'm playing around a little bit with that. And the photos here are, I have a lot of photos. There's 10 photos over a 2-page layout, and there's a lot going on because there's a lot of people. So I don't need a ton of embellishment, but I do want some embellishment, like where I put that there, where there's kind of a blank spot in a photo. I think that's kind of nice that I'm able to do that. It's one of the reasons I put the tag on the right paper on the right side where I did, is there was a little bit more of a blank spot there. It would have been fine if it had been left blank, but I used it to embellish. And then what I'm doing is they come with a foam dot underneath them, and I just took that off because there was plenty of height in these even without the foam dot. I think if you're making cards, that's awesome, but I don't need all that extra bulk in my scrapbook. They're already bulky. So then I'm using twine from the We Are Memory Keepers, and it's the So Fancy Floss collection, and it's the limeade, and that's very old as well. All right, so I'm really liking it, but I want a little finishing touch here, something else, a different texture, and I grabbed these green matte dots from Freckled Fawn. And I think they just do a nice little job. And I do like the fact that they're a matte texture, so they look a little softer, kind of like the foliage in the background is softer. is what I was thinking with this one. All right, and then I was just pointing up there that I wasn't quite sure. I was thinking I wasn't going to put the dots on up here, but in the end I did. All right, guys, there's the still shot and a couple of detail shots. Hope you're all well, and I'll be back with another layout again soon. Bye, everybody.